house with O'Connor. Hey, O'Connor, your house. I did wood in your house. Hypocrisy's had in the clouds. Curating all kind of loud. Wrestling in front of the crowds. Paragon's holding it down. Anybody can get it. Come to us for your news and opinions. We got a voice. There is no choice. Wisdom voice in your house making wrestling noise. Moving fast is like cruiserweight action. Your house is the perfect distraction. Pop us in your ears when you in traction. Get this work with some wrestling action. Swallow.
What's up, guys? What's cracking? The comment. I'm in your house. We here. We're ready to make a movie. I hope you guys are ready to make a movie. I hope you guys are with the shits, because hey, we're with the shits. Now we're ready to talk a little wrestling. That is right. You already know the vibes. Anytime we slide on through, we're here to give you that work when it comes to this professional wrestling business. And yo, guys, you know what we do. And you listen to what we do. And you guys know that's because of y'all that we're a 5-star podcast on Apple Podcasts. And we appreciate y'all. But also, I just want to come right out the gate right now and let you guys know we appreciate y'all again. We always do. But we appreciate y'all again because of y'all that In Your House is back on the Apple Podcasts American charts for a wrestling podcast. We clocked in at 111, and I think that's pretty good to jump into the top 250. There's a lot of podcasts out there, guys. There's a lot of wrestling podcasts out there, and you guys consider us to be some within the top 150 of wrestling podcasts on Apple Podcasts on the American charts right now at this time. So we do appreciate y'all. But speaking of appreciation, I got a question for y'all. Did you guys appreciate last night's Money in the Bank PLE? Did you guys appreciate it? We're going to see. We're going to see where we're at with it. But I couldn't talk about this one alone. I'm not going to talk about this one alone because there's a lot of different thoughts, and I think there's a lot of different ways that it needs to be looked at. So I was able to get one of my co-hosts here. My other one's busy, got a lot of other things moving this weekend. We got lives, y'all, like we're parents and husbands and stuff like that. So we got a lot of other stuff to do. So we couldn't get everybody on here, even though we did all watch it and we did all discuss it in the group chat last night. I'm sure we will have an episode where we'll all kind of talk a little bit more about it. But right now I was able to get my man Grunmeister coming in, and he's going to talk about Money in the Bank with me. We're also going to talk a little bit of Heatwave. What's up, bro?
Yo, what's up, Con? How you doing?
Doing good, man. Just chilling on this Sunday and trying to catch the vibe from the household out there, yourself included, as far as last night's show, man. And a lot of different thoughts. It's been a while. Let me put it like that. It's been a while, Grun, since I've came out of a Triple H ran PLE, and I'm like, man, I kind of expected a little bit more. Like usually it's like at or above expectations. And this one was a little bit below, in my opinion, man. But what was your thinking, your thoughts growing about the show overall before we really just break the card down?
I actually completely agree with you. I thought it was underwhelming a bit. Individually, men's Money in the Bank ladder match was very good. The women's Money in the Bank ladder match was very good, I thought. Sami Zayn versus Braun Breaker, I thought was very good until the finish. The World Heavyweight Championship match, I thought overall was good, but again, like I don't think I appreciate the finish as much as others. And then the main event, I thought it was boring. I thought it was, and I'm hoping like that was intentional to make it a bad Roman Reigns match without Roman Reigns.
Yeah, because you were actually talking a little bit. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm saying you were actually talking a little bit. I think you were saying you felt like when Solo was wrestling in that match, you felt like he was trying to be Roman Reigns.
Yes, because I looked at the first he was the first one to be tagged into the match or to start the match, and he's walking around looking real smug, and he just tags out like he's like no one's good enough for him. He only tagged in when someone was down. Just the entire way he was looking and acting, his presentation was like, I am better than everyone else because I am the tribal chief. It's like, dude, I cannot wait for Roman Reigns to make you swallow all 32 of your teeth.
Man, but I think that's what we're playing towards, honestly, Grun. Like, I think because even in that produced promo at the very end of SmackDown this past Friday, because when they did the tag team match, which I just want to say real quick, shout out to DIY, congratulations to them for becoming the tag team champions. I popped for that. I legitimately popped for that. I was happy to see that. I was happy to see them win it in Toronto, where they won the NXT tag team championships during their run as DIY and NXT. I just thought the whole moment was good. I thought it was dope. But I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about that more down the line. But yeah, he's him being Solo Sikoa. He was referencing. He directly said Roman Reigns wasn't man enough to beat Cody Rhodes to continue the bloodline legacy as the champion. So now I'm going to pick it up and do. So he's basically what I really do think we're moving towards a Roman Reigns return at or around SummerSlam. I really do, because now he's saying his name. Now he's like reference, he's doing Roman's little nuances during matches. You know, the little things that Roman does. We saw a spear too. When was the last time we really saw Solo pull out a spear? You know, that's basically, to your point, he's trying to mimic Roman Reigns, but it's just it's like a dollar brand version of Roman Reigns, because we know the real, you know what I mean? We know the real thing. It's like it's like we was used to regular strawberry Pop-Tarts, and now you're trying to throw us some great value Pop-Tarts, and that's just not going to work. It don't taste the same. I don't care what you say. It doesn't taste the same.
Right.
So, yeah. Tony in the comments is saying he liked the Solo promo a lot. I did too. I thought the production of it was good. I really do. And I thought I like the angle that he thinks that he's the tribal chief. That's the story here. The story here in my eyes is that he thinks he's the tribal chief, but nobody except for the people around him believes his hype. You know what I'm saying? Because we have a completely different landscape of the bloodline than we had just a year ago. You know, so that's the point that we're making here, is that it seems like Solo's moving in a different direction. I honestly thought, Grun, that the match itself was kind of fun just because of the destruction that we saw in the match. But then the ending, like, and I get that they're trying to be like, oh, the story now is that Solo Sikoa pinned the Universal Champion.
Yes.
That's the story now, and that's what they're going to try to ride home. But still, that ending was flat. It was flat. And
it was.
I don't know, man. The ending of that was flat. What do you think, man? What's your thoughts?
I think it was far too predictable. And it was, like you said, it was flat. It was bland. We were talking Randy turns heel on Cody Rhodes and costs them the match. Like, that would have added more flavor to the match.
Yeah.
Or Hikuleo coming out as Talatonga. Debuting, Roman Reigns showing up, the match needed something more, but I think this was, it could be that this was the surprise that Triple H was teasing, is that nothing really happened, is that like you just had a pay-per-view where we didn't have any big surprises or really huge surprises, and I think because our expectations have either been met or been blown out of the water since Triple H started booking WWE. I think that's why we're feeling more, I guess, defensive or more aggravated with how Money in the Bank went.
Yeah,
and that I think we should probably be getting everything that we have been expecting at SummerSlam or on the road to SummerSlam, because I don't believe that Rhea Ripley is just going to be sitting at home and Liv Morgan's gonna have an open challenge at SummerSlam. Like, oh, who is it gonna be? No, I think tomorrow night maybe we see Rhea Ripley back.
Oh, okay. That's okay.
I want her back. I mean, I want her
with
back
everything.
soon.
I want her back too. No, I'm with you. I want her back soon. I'm thinking, like, now that you mentioned that the wheels are starting to turn now, Grunt, and I'm like, if we did get her tomorrow, and what do we have? So we have almost exactly a month until SummerSlam. Tomorrow would be a good time if you want to start building. I mean, it's definitely an avenue that you can go to, especially with the dysfunction that seems to be in the Judgment Day. But here's an interesting thing about what the Judgment Day is doing. While there is dysfunction within the Judgment Day, Grunt, they're still winning. They're still being successful. We have JD and Finn now tag team champions. We have now Seth Rollins cannot challenge as long as Damian Priest is champion. They're still being successful. If you want to count Liv because that she's affiliating herself with the Judgment Day, if you want to count her, she's still the World Women's Champion. So everything surrounding the Judgment Day, no matter what the dissension is, they're still being successful. One thing I want to really bring up from last night, though, while we're staying with the Judgment Day, before the match with Damian Priest and the champion, or not the champion, Seth Rollins, before that match, Finn Balor, who I've said on this show for the last few weeks, you got to pay attention to what he's doing. You have to, because people were saying, what's happening with Finn? Even my son was like, Finn's not doing anything. He's just there. And I'm like, whoa, slow down. Pay attention to the things that Finn's doing, the nuances, the things that he's not saying, the facial expressions, how quick he took that room key. Now, once again, last night, Grun, did you see how he was staring down Damian Priest after he walked away to go get ready for his match? And he was like, whatever you say, boss. And you can tell that he was irritated. There was something irritating him. But we did not see Finn Balor show up in that match, because as soon as I saw that, I was like, he's coming out. He's costing him the match. This is where it's going to happen. But that didn't happen. That didn't happen. What were you thinking, man? What's your thoughts on that whole scenario? I want to hear your thoughts on the Finn situation.
So my thoughts are, and I was talking about this. I think I mentioned this last night when I was streaming my live reaction to the pay-per-view. I think what we're going to get is we're going to get Damian Priest asking, "Yo, why didn't you guys come out there to stop CM Punk? Why did you guys go out there to stop Drew McIntyre? Why didn't you do something to stop them?" Now, maybe he can probably make the argument that you could have stopped them before they got out to the ring, but it's the same. But Damian did send the message, I don't want you guys involved.
Yeah. And they listened.
Yeah. And my you could have had Dominic is turning against Damian because Dominic made the comment like that Dominic made the comment that Damian's acting like his dad under his breath. It's like, dude, you want to be disowned again?
Yeah.
And JD is I think JD is the odd one. Is actually the odd one out. He might be the one who's like, no, I want to keep Judgment Day together because you guys help me get to where I am.
Yeah,
and he doesn't. Whereas Damian, Finn, Dom are at each other's throats a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit. Carlito is just there because he's Puerto Rican. Let's go.
He's there. It's true, but also he's there because he's like, I need somebody to watch my back. You know what I'm saying? That's another big thing.
He's been pissing a lot of people off. So yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And here's the thing, man. Like, I think. All right. I'm just gonna ask you straight up. Do you think that we could, in the coming weeks, see a mutiny within the Judgment Day?
I think we could. I think a babyface turn for Damian Priest has been in the works, and I think the same thing for Rhea Ripley. And you can still have Rhea Bloody Rip. You can still have Rhea Ripley be the way she is, and the fans will respond positively towards it. Or because fans just they just love the character that she's portraying right now, or has been portraying. And Damian Priest, he at this point, while the Judgment Day helped him early on, at this point it is kind of hindering him. It is kind of like not really giving him the chance to really be built as a main eventer. Where while he has the world heavyweight championship, a lot of his matches are won by interference.
Yeah.
Run by something. Well, at this point, it's he need and this next match, he's got Gunther at SummerSlam, and I don't know how this match is going to go, because they could have Gunther lose, and it's another Judgment Day interference, and Damian loses it and attacks Finn or something because they interfered on his behalf. I don't know, like, but SummerSlam will be do or die for Damian Priest, one way or the other.
I agree. I think so too. Once again, this show, there's just like, I didn't really want to get caught up on the whole like Judgment Day and Bloodline stuff. We just kind of got into it and jumped right in.
Yeah.
But that's because there was just so much moving parts in this show. And like, it's crazy because, Grun, usually when I say there's a whole lot of moving parts on the show, it's like, my God, this is great. I like what's going on. But it just felt like they just kept things close to their chest at this show. And maybe they're waiting to blow that load at SummerSlam. Maybe they're looking to just kind of play with it a little bit and give us a little bit here and there on the road to SummerSlam. But it really just felt like honestly, if I could just be candid here and make this reference, like Money in the Bank felt like when you got a girl dry grinding on you, dry humping on you, and that's it. That's the extent. You're hot. You're ready to go. You're ready. You're ready to make that big move, and it's like, oh no, I gotta go home. That's it. We're done. That's what Money in the Bank felt like. It was like you was playing with it a little bit, but you didn't quite get the job done, and that was really the theme in my eyes of Money in the Bank. Let's talk a little bit about these Money in the Bank ladder matches, starting with the men's one, which I mean, in my opinion, it was okay. It was okay. Yeah. I mean, I honestly think the women's one blew it out of the water, and we'll talk more about that when we get to that. But it was an okay match that felt like it was a good match that could have been great if maybe it lasted like 5 minutes longer or something, or maybe added a little bit more spots in there or something. I mean, and then it was really capped off with the fact that, I mean, I had a feeling that we could see Drew McIntyre win Money in the Bank, but I mean, we'll talk about what happened later on in the night when we get to that match, get back to that match. But I don't know, man. What was your thoughts on the match, and what was your thoughts on the finish of the match? Where's your mind at with that whole situation in that match?
I think the match overall was good. You had Chad Gable get a lot of good spots. No, it wasn't very long.
Yeah.
I thought the length was all right. I didn't think he was too bad. It could have been longer. It probably could have been a little bit longer. And we saw plenty. We had plenty of action, plenty of violence. We saw plenty, and the finish I thought it was the right finish. Not just Drew winning, but Jay almost winning, and Drew being so pissed that he's chucking a ladder at Jay to knock him off the ladder. I stand by that. I think the match was good. I'm not going to argue with anyone on like, oh no, I thought it was like maybe it did suck. Okay, but I don't feel strongly enough about it to argue with you on it.
Right, I get it. You like what you like, bro, and like, and and that is what it is. Tony says that he liked the finish.
Yeah.
And like that's cool. Don't get me wrong. Like my pick, I was saying Jay the whole time, and I thought that that's where it was going to go. The real story with Jay Uso was that he's a main eventer who doesn't win anything. He's won nothing. I mean, he just hasn't. But like, as soon as I saw Drew win Money in the Bank, I knew he was cashing it in that night. And I think I even said in the chat, if he cashes in Money in the Bank and CM Punk cost him the Money in the Bank and he wastes that cash in, I'm gonna rip it. And here I am on this podcast ripping it. I hated it. I did not like it at all. I just didn't. I really feel like you could have achieved the same I think you could have achieved the same shock effect that you was trying to get to if he would have cost him the briefcase and not the cash in. I think you still could have got it, or you even could have had him hold it for a little bit and Punk cost him the cash in at a later time, and I think you still could have got the same effect. There was nothing super special. They weren't in Chicago. They weren't in Scotland, which has kind of been the theme of what they've been doing, which has been beating each other's ass and screwing each other over in each other's hometown. I just really feel like you could have gained the same effect. I didn't like it. I thought that making, because especially with the landscape that we have now grown in the WWE, where we have so much good young talent, you know, you could have gave it to anybody. And I think I said it on the show before. Right. You could have gave it to a superstar who could have held it for a year. A superstar now might not be the same superstar in 8 months, 9 months. You know, he might be ready to cash it in 8 or 9 months, namely like a Carmelo Hayes or somebody like that, you know, but they went with the Drew situation. They went with the failed cash in, which for storyline purposes, let me get this out of the way, y'all. For storyline purposes, I get it. I understand why they did it. It's continuing to fuel the rivalry between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. I fully understand the psychology. I just didn't like it. Grunt, right. Where were you at with it? What was your thoughts on the whole story between Drew McIntyre, CM Punk, and the briefcase that we told throughout the night and on the Money in the Bank PLE?
Okay, so I'm sitting here thinking like, yeah, like why would they do it right now? And I just realized the storyline makes sense, but the reason why it makes sense is because Drew's heated. He's a snap away from completely losing his shit, and that's what it was.
Did you see him last?
Yeah, I saw him.
I saw. You saw him last night in the post show, right?
I saw the post show. He snapped. He is done. He is on the verge of maybe storyline getting fired, but like that is it. Like you cannot put him in a match with anyone until you put him in a match with CM Punk, because he is going to injure somebody. He is going to be coming out on
He's
Raw.
Gonna snap, bro.
He is. If he didn't snap at that press conference, he snapped. He's going to snap on Raw tomorrow night. Like that is.
Oh yeah,
is not up for debate.
That's
like,
the story, bro.
He is on the verge of snapping like hell.
Yeah, that's the story. Go ahead.
Yeah. And that is why I think they did. It was because they knew they needed to push in storyline. They need to push Drew over the edge, and this was how they did it. And I know there are a lot of people are saying, no, CM Punk screwed him. Like, CM Punk didn't make it a triple threat match. CM Punk didn't win Money in the Bank. CM Punk didn't decide that he's going to make the promise of debuting of cashing in last night.
Yeah. If you look at I'm sorry, I just wanted to bring this up here last night while you were talking. This was from Adam Pearce, GM of Monday Night. I just wanted to bring this up while you were making your point. No. He said last night in Toronto was emotionally charged in so many ways. good and bad, understatement. I personally apologize for the interruption to the post show and my anger. Poor Jackie feared for her life, understatement. Decisions to be made regarding McIntyre and Punk, understatement. So I just wanted to bring that up real quick,
Okay.
Grunt, and then get your thoughts on it.
Yeah. So they definitely so with that happening, we're definitely going to see something happen to Drew. Drew might get fired, or the or Adam Pierce might say, look, I don't care if you're cleared or not, Punk. You keep starting shit. You keep stirring shit with Drew, and now staff that are not wrestlers are getting scared. So now
Yeah.
you two are having a match at SummerSlam. Loser goes to SmackDown
Oh, okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. I
because
like.
I
Okay.
don't think they
Okay.
want to fire each of them or
Yeah.
fire either of them. But you send one to SmackDown. Maybe that forces Nick Aldis to send someone to Raw.
Yeah. Good thought.
Me personally, I I'm okay. I'm just looking for a way to get the War Dogs from NXT back together. I just want Baron Corbin and Braun Breaker back together. That's
Oh, I'm
all I
not mad. I
want.
don't hate that. I don't hate that at all.
they
I
were they
loved
were
them as a tag team.
oh yeah, they were great. It was so much fun. And it's like, yo, you're not doing anything with Baron Corbin. I have a soft spot for wrestlers that have heavy metal, hard rock, biker,
Yeah.
badass skin. I'm sorry. I I just love it. I love Baron Corbin the second I saw him. I thought
I
he was a
love the Lone Wolf
badass.
character. It, it,
Yeah,
it fit so it fit him perfectly. The Lone Wolf
yeah,
character was perfect. I agree with that. I think they're doing some. I think they got him tag teaming with Apollo Crews now on SmackDown. I don't
yeah. I saw that.
understand.
I I mean, like, I'm like, look, at least you're doing something with him. Um, and hopefully it leads to something more. If not, like, find a way to get them on Raw, make them the tag, and have them be the ones to challenge for the tag team titles.
Yeah. No, I'm not against that. I'm not against that. I honestly, and we're gonna get to that, but I don't know what they're gonna do with Braun Breaker because they didn't pull the trigger last night at Money in the Bank.
No,
I thought for sure last night was the time, and it felt like nobody like Sammy. I think we've said it on the show. Sammy's bigger than the title. He could find a million things to
yeah,
do without that title. I just feel like last night it should have been Braun's time. We'll go ahead and pivot to that because
hmm
I know I agree with that thought too. Good match. I thought it was a good match, but man, I just felt like that they didn't pull the trigger on what they should have. Everybody, listen. Before I let you go, I just got to say I
yeah,
was listening to a couple of different podcasts, specifically, the Pope's Point of View, the Pope Elijah Burke podcast, who I produce, from former NWA television champion and TNA star and WWE star Elijah Burke. Even he on his podcast said it's Braun Breaker's time. It feels like it's time to pull the trigger. You know, you said it, I said it, but they didn't do it. I don't
hmm
know, man. It felt like to me it's just a rare miss for Triple H and his regime. But what do you think?
I want to believe that he has a plan, but I agree with what Paragon was saying in the chat that the only way this would have made sense for Sammy to win is if there was interference by Ricochet. We saw Ricochet in a video package talking about last year's Money in the Bank ladder match, and it's like, dude, like, when like, what, like, you guys could not have at least paid him to show up and screw Braun Breaker. Like,
Yeah.
even if even if like it would have been a one, like, just do that. Ricochet gets his revenge, and then now you have a reason because, like, Braun should have won. I thought the match was far more
Yeah.
competitive than it's been. And it's like we saw Braun Breaker, like, he was not phased at all by the new crowd. He was not phased by the larger crowd. He was not
Mm-mm.
phased by any. He is so he is so ready to put this company on his back and be the guy. He is completely ready. I'm not against taking time with him and, like, really enjoying his rise.
Yeah, for
And
sure. I'm with you
as
there.
I'm sitting here, the only thing I'm thinking is that they're going to find a way to say, well, Braun, I need to keep you under control, which is another way he could be, again, another way to get the War Dogs, because maybe Baron Corbin is the only one who can keep Braun Breaker on a leash, because
Yeah.
Baron and Braun have that good connection. And here's how I can see them restarting his momentum. Tonight on Raw, or tomorrow night on Raw, Braun Breaker takes on 3 men and fucking kills them in a minute.
He's gonna.
Okay?
He's got it. Yeah, that's the
tell
move.
people like that match was bullshit. I agree with everything you said about Sammy. I agree with everything about Sammy is great. He should have lost.
Yeah. I'm really with you here. Our guy Roger thinks the correct moves was for Sammy to win. I just, if Braun wins, it eventually, but stretched a few. So you're saying stretched a few. So let me ask you, Roger. I just want to ask: do you think that they should run it again at SummerSlam? Because I will say this: if the plan is to prolong this and have them run it again at SummerSlam, and at that point Braun wins, I'm for that. And the reason why is because I would love to see Braun Breaker win the title on a big 4, because that will be a moment for him, and I think that there's another, I think it's, in a way, it's good that Braun lost. And the reason I say it like this is because of wrestling psychology. Like, if he starts winning a million matches and then people start to acknowledge that he's on a streak, then they're going to really start comparing him to Goldberg. And those comparisons are already kind of like there's whispers right there. So like, just do it in a way where it's like, yeah, you took a loss. Now we don't have to sit up here and stress out about no streak or anything like that. But this right here, hold on. This could be a thing. This could definitely be a thing. I would be happy to see that. But Grun, what you think? What you think?
I mean, I immediately thought that was funny, but like Braun Breaker in a dog collar match, like, on one hand, like, yeah, like I would definitely pay money to see that. On the other hand, I can't, like, part of me is like, that's Cody's match, and it's like,
yeah. You think about Cody
Roger,
when you think about that match, don't you?
But this is a gimmick match, and I think Braun can make it work. And because you hear the crowd, the second Braun debuted on Raw, the second he debuted in WWE, like, fans were going to like
yeah.
So like, people know who he is. People know he's this what do they call him, the Mad Dog or whatever.
Yeah. His dad, just like Roger said, his dad was the dog face gremlin, and they always say the Breaker got that dog in him.
Yeah, and
I'm liking this. This is like
Hunter
he's
will
talking
stay
me
away
into
from
it.
Hunter will stay away from the Goldberg stuff. I can understand that, but at the same time, like, Braun Breaker, if there's anyone that you can do the Goldberg stuff with, it's Braun Breaker. If there's anyone of this new generation,
I think that.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. No, I was just thinking about what you're saying. Even Pope said on his podcast, if you guys listen to it, it drops every Saturday morning. He said it on his newest episode, that Braun gets compared to Goldberg, but the difference is he's becoming Goldberg faster. And the reason that he says that, and the reason I think that he says that is because how long was Goldberg just beating chumps? Just beating, you know what I mean, Joe Schmoes, just beating, respectfully, jobbers. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was doing that for months and months and months. Like, a lot of Goldberg's streak was just him beating Joe Everyman. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's what we don't talk about. We remember the streak, but we don't think about, when it comes to the streak, is that it came on the back of a lot of ham and eggers. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not doing that with Braun. Braun is now actively involved in stories. Like, usually the flow is when you bring a new talent in, especially a talent with the caliber of somebody like Braun Breaker, is that you bring them in, you set him up with a few jobbers to show that he's dominant, show that he's a badass. And then maybe in a few weeks, maybe after a couple of months of doing that, you kind of give them a feud, somebody, and then blah blah. You try to transition them into storylines because when they first come in, they normally don't jump right into stories. Guys like that, they jump right into, hey, we have to establish that he is a badass, that he's unstoppable, that he can run through everybody before we start putting him up against our like other premier talent. You know what I'm saying? We have to build him to make people believe in him before we start putting him up against our guys, you know? So that's kind of what they're doing, but they didn't do it as they didn't do it as long with Braun as they did it with Goldberg. So I see those comparisons with with Goldberg and Braun, but I just think Braun is on a different level. I think he has a different pedigree at this point in his career that than Goldberg did, and that's because of his Hall of Fame family. You know, so I don't know. I think at the end of the day, Braun's going to be okay, but I think that because I know for a fact, me and you are for sure like huge Braun Breaker fans. Like this guy is like must see to me every single week. I think that's where the disappointment comes in with both of us, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. I think we're we're getting too emotionally involved, too emotionally attached. So now we're not like I know like I didn't start watching wrestling till 2005, so I didn't see the Goldberg stuff. I'm not that familiar with his rise, but no, like that actually makes sense as to why Goldberg would have such a big reign if he was a bunch of jobbers. And yeah, like I mean, I agree. This was absolutely a big deal that putting Braun in a feud with Sami Zayn this early, definitely a big deal, especially after Sami Zayn just beat Gunther. So it's like, yeah, this is on paper great, and yeah, I'm just too emotionally attached.
Yeah, I once again I think it's because the fact that we're both really big fans of Braun. The chat is kind of doing some things right now here, Grun. They're talking about a double
A
turn
double
here
flip.
between Breaker and Sammy. I don't know
I don't.
just because Sammy's such a huge baby face, but I think
Yeah.
that he's kind of implying that, like, I think that what they're kind of implying is that there was like, even though Sami Zayn like is a great talent and everybody loves Sami Zayn,
Hmm.
I think that the whispers are kind of like, hey, we like Braun. Like Braun's the shiny new toy. We've seen you have prominence. We've seen you main event WrestleManias. You've won tag titles, intercontinental championships, and done all these things. Now we want to see somebody else do it. So now, can we see a situation where the crowd rebels against Sammy and kind of starts to back Breaker? And I'm not saying this like manufacturally made. I mean, it seems like this could organically happen, and then WWE goes with it and just pulls the double turn. What's your thoughts on what they're talking about in the chat?
That like I think it's something possible that could happen. Sam will be involved in Bloodline feud. Um,
I don't know about that. I don't know about that as far as the bloodline feud stuff. Just because
I
I feel like it's not a chapter we would want to go back to.
no, and I think if there's going to be anyone involved in the Bloodline storyline, I think outside of uh like siding with Roman, I think we would see Cody side with Roman. I think we would see Randy and KO side with Roman because while yeah, they got beef with Roman, they also recognize that Roman is never would
There's
have
a common
done
enemy.
what's so yeah, they have a common enemy. Roman never would have done things the way they've been doing them. Roman wants to take out Solo just as badly as they do. But I like I the double turn, like I think I'd have to sit back and watch Raw the next couple weeks and see what happens, see how the story goes. Uh, he had heel mannerisms. I think I missed that promo. I don't think I saw it. Um,
They did it, and he was talking about how emotionally driven everything was, and how like it
yeah,
doesn't matter how many times that he does the things that people say that he can't do. He's always does it, and people still doubt him, and he kind of
actually,
takes
oh
issue with
yeah,
that. So
yeah, I do.
that's kind of where they're pulling that from.
Right. Okay. Um, yeah, like Triple H has got us at a point where, like, at least got me at a point where I'm like, I don't know how I'm feeling. I want to
Yeah.
love the product. I don't love the product right now, but I'm sure this is Triple H saying, "Ha, I've got you in checkmate now, bitch." I think,
Yeah.
I,
He's definitely because his statement, he had made a statement saying that there's going to be surprises and it's going to be a fun night. But then the general consensus is that it was just okay. So that I don't know, man. Do you think Triple H was pulling the wool over our eyes? What do you think Triple H was doing there, man?
I think he was pulling the wool over our eyes. I think this entire pay per view was meant to set things up for SummerSlam, and I
Yeah.
think the issue is we expected, like we said earlier, we expected something, a more grander show. We expected bigger things to happen. We were predicting that AJ Lee was going to come out and screw Drew McIntyre. We were predicting
Yep.
that Ricochet was going to do something. We were predicting that Roman Reigns, Hikuleo. We were predicting all these bigger things to happen, and we we feel disappointed that these things that we predicted didn't happen when we're not the one booking the show. We're not the one
Right.
that has to make the plans for SummerSlam. Um, and I I'm hoping that we see Roman Reigns return before SummerSlam. I can see, and yeah, I can understand what Aaron's saying. We won't see Roman until SummerSlam. I'm just, in my head, I'm thinking, while Roman is definitely more of a calm, cool, collected individual, the emotional
Mm-hmm.
connection that he has with Paul Heyman, I would think, would force his hand to show up immediately and get in Solo's face and be like,
Yeah.
"You put your hands on the wise man. You don't do that. You don't put your hands on
Mm-hmm.
the man that has had the respect and admiration of our family for decades. The man that is like family."
Yep. True. True. I could definitely see where you're coming from on that because it makes sense in the way that look at it here, even in this promo that I'm playing here on IG from the WWE IG page, just to give them their reference. Like, there's Solo's out of control. He's
Mhm.
absolutely out of control. He is. I mean, what he did to Paul Heyman was just what him and his family did to Paul Heyman was just crazy. Like you said, decades of being the wise man to that family, to the Samoan dynasty, being a confidant to that family for decades. That's a line crossed, and I think, like you said, that is going to force Roman's hand. I also think the story here is that he's also not when you mix real life up with the story, you know what I'm saying, is that why didn't he come sooner? Well, he is mourning the death of his father. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
I do think that SummerSlam, his head is going to be cleared, ready to come back. I think that when you see Roman come back, there's a strong possibility you can see Heyman flanking Roman at that time, and we'll see a more clean cut Paul Heyman, hair slicked back, hair dyed, face shaved, eyes wide, standing by his tribal chief and feeling confident again after the assault by the new bloodline. It's an interesting story that's going to be had here. Solo, former In Your House guest Solo Sokoa, very interesting way right now that makes you think what is going to happen next when Roman does return, man. And a lot of things to talk about. We've already talked about so much here on this episode when it comes to Money in the Bank, and a lot more that we still have to talk about because it's not over yet, y'all. We've talked about everything really except for really the other two main things, and I want to save the last one for where it needs to be at last, because I think that there's a long conversation to be had there. So I want to bring up, Grun, the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, which for me personally was match of the night. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the women doing their thing. I really enjoyed Chelsea's involvement in this match. Grun, I really think that Chelsea was an MVP in this match. She was a focal point for a lot of this match, whether it be her fear of heights, whether it be her almost winning, her wearing her Canadian colors and the crowd getting behind her. Every single thing that she did, Chelsea just jumped off the screen. And even though she didn't win, she was an MVP. I think you got to talk about Chelsea Green in the main event very, very soon. What are your thoughts on the match, and what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are we like let's break it down. So here's how the match started. If you didn't see it. Bell rings. Chelsea's ready to go. Everyone runs out of the ring, going for a ladder.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, that's smart on their part. Chelsea's still in the ring. Like, she decides to try and jump for the briefcase. Jump off.
Ridiculous. I love her. Ridiculous.
Chelsea is from what I have seen, she's actually a really good wrestler. And then you look at her promos, you look at her ability to just perform and be entertaining. Like she is chef's kiss. She is amazing. She is great. She is fantastic. She's perfect for the women's division right now. She is exactly what they need to make the badasses look badass and to make the heels look like real good heels. And like she is perfect. Zoe Stark had some really good spots. I thought she almost cracked her head open on the edge of a ladder at one point.
Oh yeah, I think I remember that spot.
And like, but Naomi decided to walk up both ladders at the same time because she wanted to be cool. And
oh my god,
I'm like, first
I really thought she was about to break her ankle.
Yeah, it's impressive, Naomi, that you recovered. But why the hell would you think that's a smart idea in the first place? Okay, I'm sorry, Leo, I have to call you out on that. It's one thing if if you're on one ladder, someone trying to pull you off the other, you jump onto the other, but you're not able to get your foot off in time before they're pulling the ladder away from you. That would make more sense. But why would you intentionally walk up both ladders at the same? That Naomi, I'm sorry, that's just the most ridiculous. But no, like the women's. In spite, like it was entertaining, it was fun to watch. It got you excited. It was a very good match. Another example that WWE has a great women's division right now. One thing I did mention, I think one issue that I think that was overcome pretty well is I don't believe a lot of these women have experience in ladder matches or in matches like this. So So with that in mind, like you really had to give respect to how much effort that they put into this. I thought there were some sloppy parts, sure, but I think Tony, you're right. It was a really fun match. Yeah, that. Oh god, that bump, power bomb bump onto a ladder, that was insane. That was insane.
I think I had that up a little bit earlier. Yeah, that was nutty. It was. I mean, it was a fun match. It was just so fun to see. 100%. It was so fun to take in, man. And yeah, like OG Tony said, yeah, a little bit sloppy, but I thought it was a fun match. And this is the match where I think we're all agree, where even though I would have loved to see Chelsea, I really thought that they were going to go with Chelsea, but I don't think anybody's mad about it being Tiffy time and us having a little Tiffy in the bank. And and if you watched the post show there, Grun, she did exactly what we all thought she's going to do. Exactly what we all thought she's going to do. She's going to pretty up that belt. but dazzle it, make it
Yeah.
just pop. What are your thoughts, man? I know that she was in your picks to win this whole thing. I also want while asking about her winning, I also want to ask about your thoughts on her interaction with Trish Stratus last night. I thought that was interesting. What do you think?
So I think she did well in the match. I think I love everything that she said and did. Her interactions with Trish, I think, is very interesting. I think it's a way to argue why she's going to prolong and wait till another moment, till much later down the road, before she cashes in. I think
Yeah,
this is might be another case where Tiffany is going to learn from what she saw with Drew and realize, okay, no,
yeah,
I need to wait till the champion least expects it, because everyone was expecting it. CM Punk
yeah,
was expecting it. So it's like, I think she's realizing she's making enemies, but while she has Nia Jax in her corner, she needs to make sure that she is in full control when she cashes in.
yeah,
And the like, I could really see a Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus. I just realized those names are very similar. Um,
yeah.
I can see that match maybe going to WrestleMania, maybe, because Trish is still in very good shape.
She is.
And like, I don't know what would be a bigger moment for Tiffany Stratton than beating a woman like Trish Stratus, who has such a legendary career, and beating her at WrestleMania. Like, that would be really cool. I do think that Tiffany versus Trish at SummerSlam, I don't think it's out of the question. I think that's a real possibility.
You saying Tiff and Trish
Yeah,
at
yeah,
SummerSlam?
Aaron. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think that's out of the question. I think that's a possibility.
I think that's in play for sure. I think that if they're gonna do it, they definitely teased it with that interaction last night. Which, if that's the play, perfect, great move.
Mhm.
Especially since when I see Tiffany, I definitely do see some waves of young Trish Stratus in there. But of course, like Tiffany Stratton is at such a crazy level. The money match at Mania is Tiffany and Charlotte. Let's go. Yeah,
If
I
she's
think.
it,
Yeah,
if Charlotte is cleared in time, cleared, and they can build a good story, like, absolutely, I can definitely see that being the match, if they can turn
yeah.
Charlotte face, because I actually think it would be more realistic that Stephanie turns face by WrestleMania, because I don't think people generally actually like Charlotte. I think people just want to hate her all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, it is because of her pedigree and how she
Yeah,
walks in and always gets title shots and yada yada yada. But even Aaron just said Tiffany gets
yeah,
cheered anyway. I mean, she
right.
does.
Yeah,
Even if she's acting like a Bia, they don't care. They like her because she's good.
no,
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? So, that's the thing right there. And she can still she can still be a bitch and fans like it.
Oh
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? It's that's still a thing. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So like I like the way Tiffany Stratton is moving right now. I think putting Money in the Bank on her is definitely the right move, especially since, like I said before, Tiffany Stratton could be a completely different superstar in 8 months that she is right now. You guys think
I-
she's a star now, and she is. Don't get me wrong, she's a star. In 8 months, she could be a mega star. We don't know what's going to happen.
Let's point out what Aaron's saying.
Oh, you got
Less
to
than
go.
3 years in, he's referring to to Tiffany Stratton. She's less than 3 years into this industry. I thought she was at least 3 years in. Under 3 years, and this is where we're at with her. Like,
Yeah,
this is a woman
yeah.
that has stepped into a world less than 3 years ago, did not know what she was getting into, and said, "I'm game. Fucking give me your best." And
And is slowly becoming one
yeah,
of the best.
yeah, absolutely. Started training in 2021. Damn,
Ain't that crazy?
that is insane. but it also is like it's refreshing because now because we are seeing young people look at people like Tiffany Stratton and Braun Breaker who like they don't have long careers in pro wrestling, but they have long careers in
Yeah.
gymnastics, in sports, in athletic competitions. And that alone has given them an edge because when they set their mind to getting into this industry, and they are skyrocketing to the top.
This, you don't, what you said, Grun, just now, big, because, and I think Aaron can speak to this. When WWE was bringing in talent from the indies, a lot of indie bad habits came with it. You know what I'm saying? And that's why we saw guys not trust the process and things like that. Because bad indie habits and things of that nature. You're taking kids from this next in line program that they're going into college. There are kids that have been coached in football, coached in gymnastics, coached in track and field. They're coachable. They listen. The thing about it is when you're in the indies, when you're a wrestler in the indies, a lot of the time you think you're always right. You know what I'm saying? But like these kids are coming in coachable, and honestly, the next in line program that WWE has built with colleges and whatnot is feeding families, bro, because that's
Yeah.
where we're getting Obafemi's, Trick Williams's, Carmelo Hayes's. I could keep going. Tiffany
Yeah.
Stratton's, Braun Breakers. That's where we're getting them. We're getting the next. We're getting the next top stars. Kalani Jordan. We're getting the next top stars from this next in line program. That's really and like we're saying, you brought up Braun Breaker and Tiffany Stratton. Less than 3 years in the business and already looking like in the next 2 years they could be top stars. That's a good
Absolutely.
investment. That's a good
Absolutely,
investment.
100%.
Yeah, yeah. And NXT has a lot of great women down there right
Yeah,
now,
they
and we're
do.
and
You,
and Tony, stick around because we're gonna talk NXT Heatwave. I just want to let you know we're talking NXT Heatwave. We're talking Money in the
yeah,
Bank. We still got a little bit to talk about because a big thing we got to talk about. But we're talking Heatwave after that, man. It's been a great episode, y'all. We appreciate the traction in the chat. We appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for coming and chatting us up and making this conversation even better. But man, I thought overall, I thought the Money in the Bank pay-per-view was, I would give it, to be fair, I would say a C, a C minus. I say a C minus. That's where I'm
okay.
getting it. I don't want to go D. It wasn't awful. It wasn't
No.
terrible. It wasn't F. It wasn't D. I'm saying C minus just because I felt like they held back, and maybe
Yeah.
that was the intent. I understand. Maybe that was the intent to hold back, but Money in the Bank. It means it. Money in the Bank has. There's some people out there that actually feel like that there's a big five. I think that last night kind of proved there's not a big five. It's only a big four,
Right.
and that's WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, and Survivor Series. It feels like it was out. Like if you're thinking it was there's a top five, last night kind of showed you differently, in my
Yeah.
opinion. But if you were putting a grade on it before we talk about this very last thing that came from the show, what would you give it?
If I'm excluding the main event,
Mhm.
or if I'm excluding the main event, I'd give this a B minus if I'm excluding the main event. I think without the
Okay.
main event, I think the main event brought the show down, and I think it's because of what we talked about earlier, how the match felt like it was a Roman Reigns match without Roman Reigns, and did not hit the same.
Yeah. Okay. So just out of curiosity, what if you were adding it? What grade would you give it?
C minus.
Okay. All right. So we're kind of on the
I'm
same.
dropping
Okay.
it.
Got it.
Yeah,
Got it.
yeah, I'm dropping it.
Got you.
But yeah,
That's where I'm
yeah,
at.
yeah. We can't blame the whole show on the main event sucked. Like, well, I mean there was good wrestling. There was good spots. It was a fun show, regardless.
Yeah. Yeah, I think overall it was fun, but yeah, I'm kind of with you as far as that goes. But man, okay, we gotta talk about this. We have to get this out of the way, man. I mean, throughout all the things that happened, this right here was big. And that right there was John Cena showing up unexpectedly. I didn't expect him to be there. I did not expect him to be there. He shows up and as you can see here for our live viewers here, we got it here up on IG as he's about to come through the curtain. He's going to come through the curtain. We see him in his Cena gear. We're like, oh, it's John
Yeah,
Cena. We're like, what's Cena doing here? What's he got to say? And then he pulls this out. He pulls out his signature towel. He unwraps the towel like he normally does. We're expecting everything. And then it says the last time is now.
I
And
didn't even
I
read
just wanted to
that.
build that
Man.
real quick because this led to him. Yeah, that was there. And then he comes out and then he he says he really didn't even build it up that much in the promo, man. He came right
No.
out and said he's announcing his retirement from the WWE. And it was whoa, I know for me it was just like I felt like we kind of halfway expected it just because of like his schedule being so light. We didn't really see him. We know he's digging deep into being in Hollywood and stuff, but this felt abrupt, man. And later on, I just want to put some reference on this. Later on, he said that this is, I think when he said it in the promo, everybody thought WrestleMania 41 was going to be his last match. No, the entire year of 2025, he's going to have a retirement tour, about 30 to 40 dates, I think he said
Yeah,
in the post conference. So we're going to see him all year. We will see him at the Royal Rumble. He announced that's going to be going down to Indianapolis, and I definitely plan on being there. I think all In Your House does too. But yeah, man, it was just big. John Cena, man, retiring from the WWE, one last retirement tour. Where are you at, Grunt? Because this kind of hit us all like a ton of bricks.
so for me, when he first heard it, I'm sitting there like, no way, come on, you're not, come on, you're here to announce Toronto's getting another WrestleMania. But
Yeah,
like
something. Yeah,
like like I don't think it's really set in for me because I was 12 years old when I started watching WWE. John Cena was champion. John Cena had just beaten Jericho in a You're Fired match. He was battling Kurt Angle over who's more American feud, and he was just being like Super Cena. And like for me, like
yeah.
I love that. So the I don't know, just I guess just the idea of Cena finally retiring just doesn't feel real. I think that's the best way I can put it.
Yeah, that's no, I agree with you, man. So like I've been on and off with John Cena through the years, man. Like I've been a wrestling fan since like the mid 90s, and it's crazy because when Cena came in, of course, he was bringing that ruthless aggression when he slapped Kurt Angle and really came on the scene. Undertaker comes, shakes his hand, and that's like kind of the birth of John Cena busting onto the scene on WWE television. Then later we kind of see him come back and this is a big time when like Eminem and Paul Wall and them was like super big in hip hop, the white boys in hip hop. So he jumped on that, and he was the white boy in hip hop and wrestling, and he came with the rapping and the throwback jerseys and the big chains and everything. He even dropped a rap album that years later people still talk about, like it. And then he became like the champ. Like he transitioned from that hip hop wannabe guy to just the champ. And he brought the hustle, loyalty, and respect. And man, he really felt like that generation's Hulk Hogan, except not being a bastard in real life. Like
Yeah,
he was a
we've heard the
genuinely good
stories.
guy. I mean, we could, yeah, yeah, and like Cena just being a genuinely good guy, and of course his work with Make a Wish, having a record of granting all the wishes that he's granted. I mean, generational superstar. Everybody, it doesn't matter if you watch wrestling or not. Everybody knows you can't see me. Everybody knows John Cena. Everybody knows that you can't see John Cena inside joke, like his time in Hollywood, but and then the time when we rebelled against him, when wrestling fans rebelled against John Cena because he was being oversaturated by Vince McMahon. He would win the title all the time. He was Super Cena. We hated it. We wanted to see new young talent. Cena was very much a representation of, and it was not by his fault of, just to be clear, it was not by his fault of his own. It was a fault of who was telling him what to do and him being a company man and doing what the company is telling him to do. But he very much felt like the symbol of oppressing every other talent in WWE. He was the standard of, we're going to hold down your indie darlings. We're going to hold down your favorites because we love John Cena. John Cena makes us money. John Cena is a cash cow. And as long as John Cena is around, we're not going to focus that much on anybody else to try to put him into the stratosphere. I really felt like that in the late 2000s, every other pay-per-view was John Cena versus Randy Orton. I promise. Every other show felt like it was John Cena versus Randy Orton. And that's where the rebellion against John Cena really came. But don't get it twisted. John Cena is somebody who always upped his game. When people were saying you can't wrestle, he got better at wrestling. When people were saying they didn't want to see him, he made sure that he showed up. And I'll never forget the iconic entrance he made in ECW One Night Stand as the most hated man in the entire building, hoisting that championship in the air with his head down from a ruckus Philadelphia ECW crowd that wanted to see this man get his head ripped off. They wanted to see a public hanging with John Cena. Rob Van Dam, John Cena going up against each other, ECW, and he did and you know what? As much as people talk about John Cena holding talent down, he did the honors. Who came out of that match winning both the ECW and WWE championship? It was Rob Van Dam. 2011, Money in the Bank in Chicago. CM Punk going up against John Cena with everything on the line. Punk's contract in 2011 was going to expire. He was going to leave WWE with the championship belt. It was Cena's job to win that match and make sure that the championship stayed with the company. Vince McMahon did all he could, but at the end of the day, CM Punk won, John Cena lost. He did the honors to help that story become better. A lot of polarizing opinions about John Cena, but a lot of people, especially in the age brackets below me, widely consider him to be their GOAT of professional wrestling. So it's a historic day when somebody like that, who really changed the landscape of professional wrestling in his time, comes out and announces his retirement. John Cena will always be considered, to me, no matter what my relationship with him at any point was, whether I loved him, whether I hated him, to me, he will always be considered one of the greatest of all time.
Absolutely, 100%. And like, people can get mad, but I mean, like, there was some truth in a promo that Cena cut against Roman Reigns. Cena said, "I'm still here because you can't do your job." This was when Roman Reigns was still the big dog. This was his yard, and they just hadn't figured out how to get Roman Reigns over yet.
Yep. Absolutely. No, you're right, man. It's just big, man. I know. I mean, me and my son got a chance to see John Cena back in October when he was was in Indianapolis for Fastlane, and he was involved in that event. And honestly, we had thought that was going to be the last time that we saw John Cena. He says he's going to be back for the Royal Rumble in Indianapolis. Once again, I plan on being there, so we get a chance to see Cena at least one more time live doing his thing. And I believe what he's saying in the promo, bro. I believe that that last year he's going to wrestle. He's going to try to give us the best stories. He's going to try to give us the best version of himself. And it all starts on Netflix. Like, it's he said, even he said that, bro. Even he said that on his post. He was super excited to be a part of the Netflix deal. This Netflix deal is, man, I'm excited for January, man. I really am. I truly am. I'm excited for 2025.
The wrestling world is going to be thrown on its head when January 1st comes around. What is the world going to look like? What is wrestling world going to look like? What is Raw going to look like? Like, honestly, no one knows. Everyone's got theories. Everyone's got jokes. Like, oh, maybe they'll bring some stuff back that we really don't want them to bring back. But we don't know. We don't know because this has never been done before. And John Cena, he wants to be along for the ride. And honestly, like that feels like the John Cena that I grew up with, the John Cena that I fell in love with.
Yeah, man. It seemed like he got some piss and vinegar left in him. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, he does.
He seemed like, especially like, if you watched the press conference, he was like, "No, give me all your questions. I want all the questions." I was like, he's energetic. Like, he's excited to be there. This isn't some phoned in John Cena that's like, "Oh, I'm going to do 4 or 5 dates and then I got this movie to do." No, this man, it feels like, because this is his farewell tour, it feels like he's going to be entirely locked in. And I think there's a lot of people excited about it. I think there's a lot of people saddened by it. I think there's a lot of people shocked by it. But at the end of the day, I mean, this is what it is. This is John Cena's decision. It's his career. He's given us 20 plus years of him and given us the best that he possibly can. And I know that for a fact, because a lot of those years I was along for that ride. And that man really put WWE on his back. He really did. When people questioned him, he always had an answer. So, like, I got none but love for John Cena, and I'm going to be excited to see how he goes out in this last year. And he said when he goes out, it means he's retiring. He's retiring the jorts. He's retiring the hat gimmick. He said it's going to be suits. It's going to be stuff like that. But honestly, Grun, I want to tell you, in that press conference, what I was really excited about, something that he said, was that they asked him, "Are you going to take on like some sort of backstage role or something like that when you're done, when the farewell tour is done?" And I thought to myself, Grun, before he said, I was like, no. I mean, he's going to be focused on Hollywood. He's going to be doing his thing. But he shocked me when he said, "No, I'd love to be involved. I'd love to pass along like knowledge and blah, blah, blah." I'm like, ooh, that makes me excited, because John Cena, one of the greatest of all time, in a backstage role, and maybe he won't be at every show. I wouldn't expect him to be at every single show.
No.
But like, John Cena doing some backstage stuff on NXT.
Yeah.
Yo, that's gonna feed families, because and I'm sorry, I'll let you go. I just got to get this point out, because a lot of these young kids who's coming through these college programs, they looked up to John Cena. John Cena was a hero to them in one way or the other, because they're that young to remember being inspired by his in-ring wrestling. And John Cena always stood up for good. And I really feel like if you send somebody like that down to NXT, those young kids that watched him are going to be like so in awe and really just soak every single word in that he's going to say. But I'm sorry, what was you going to say, Grun?
John Cena in a producer role or a backstage role, or even a manager role, like John Cena just working with the younger talent, I think is NXT has a lot of great coaches. NXT has a lot of great things, has a lot of great people that work there. John Cena might be the key, because I know I think it was me and Voice, we were talking that the one thing that NXT really doesn't seem to teach too much, and that is comedy. The comedy act. Yeah. You have Metaphor that is a bit comedic, but
Yeah.
I've never found any of their segments funny or entertaining. Um,
Mhm.
so it's like John Cena could be definitely maybe his mind is the key to helping these NXT stars understand like how you do comedy in pro wrestling. Maybe
Yeah.
um because like they I'm just thinking like this is I don't know what to think, but this is gonna be one hell of a ride over the next 18 months.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is, man. I'm really excited. Like, it's a shock to hear that he's doing this, but man, like, we, I think me and you both know, man. Like, Father Time beats us all. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
we all tap out to Father Time at some point. No matter how much it seem like, oh, this guy can go forever. You can't go forever. It might feel that way, but you just can't. So like. I'll leave it at this, and then we'll talk Heat Wave because I am very excited to
Mhm.
talk about Heat Wave,
Yeah.
especially since NXT is like really so amazing. But like I'm happy John can go out on his terms. Especially since like a lot of these cats grun like they go out because like they're forced by injury to retire,
Yeah.
or their body is telling them, hey, this is it. Like this guy is going out on his terms, still in great shape. You know what I'm saying? And he's doing it his way. It's a lot of exciting laughs that we can see from John Cena. At some point in the year, we could see John Cena versus Randy Orton again, John Cena versus The Rock, John Cena versus CM Punk. I'd be excited for John Cena versus Seth Rollins again, John Cena versus Roman Reigns. We could do that again, run that back. John Cena, AJ Styles, we could run that back. John Cena, Carmelo Hayes. Hey, that could be good. You know what I'm saying? John Cena theory again, if they want to go that route. I mean, John Cena, Braun Breaker. I mean, there's just so many. There's a lot. It's a lot. So, like, shout out to John Cena and his career. Excited to see what he does next in 2025 and then beyond that. So, that's exciting. But I want to talk Heat Wave, man. I really want
Yeah.
to get to this Heat Wave show, bro. Yeah, I'm super. I know you are too. We're both like, and like, I think that it was who was it? Aaron. Aaron said that Heat Wave is gonna steal the weekend. I really think you might be right. I do. I
Yeah.
just do. I got the card up here that I wanted to bring up, and man, it's gonna be fun, man. It's gonna be fun. A lot of ways you can go. But I want to start off with the main card. I know we got a tag team match there, but I want to start off with the main card, man. And that's
Okay.
Kalani Jordan versus Sol Ruka. I my first time seeing Kalani Jordan, to be very candid, was when she won the NXT Women's North American Championship. That was my first time seeing her, and
Yeah.
I don't know if I said it in the chat. I can't remember, but I do. In my brain, I was like, I'm a fan. She made me a fan in that one match. One match, Grun. She made me a fan. So I'm excited to see what she's gonna do as champion. Also, Sol Ruka is somebody who snatched my eye in like the last 6 or 7 months, and she's good at snatching stuff. She'll hit you with that
Mhm.
soul snatcher, which is that fancy cutter, and it's a great move. And
Yeah.
man, I'm excited for this match. I think it could be a sleeper on the card, but I want to get your thoughts on that match. NXT Women's North American Championship. I believe this is Jordan's first defense as the North American champion against Sol Ruka. What are your thoughts on this match?
Well, I think they've got a very I think you're right. I think this could be a sleeper because I think at least for me, like up until the ladder match, I'd really only seen Solar or Kalani Jordan cut promos, and I thought, okay, she's good. She's got a good presence. She knows how to talk. The ladder match was very good. Good. Sol Ruka is the one that has been sticking out for me just because she just came back from injury.
Yeah.
They put her in the ladder match to determine the first NXT Women's North American champion, and now they're putting her in a title match against Kalani Jordan. So I think these are definitely two women that NXT and Shawn Michaels believes are going to be the future of the women's division on Raw and SmackDown. So this is definitely going to be interesting. I don't know who you got, but you said you got Kalani or do you know who do you
I
have?
think Kalani is going to retain. I think Kalani
Okay.
could retain. And only reason, let me be clear, the only reason I say that is because I just don't see her losing the title this soon into her reign. But let me be clear, So Ruka is ready for that. She's ready for something like that. My brain goes right to the length of the title reign, and I don't think she's going to drop it that soon. What do you think?
I agree. I think if they really believe in Kalani, they're not going to have her drop it this soon. At the same time, like with NXT, like NXT is not. It's never really been about title reigns.
They've been known to do it.
They've been about. Yeah, no, yeah, they've been. No, yeah, you've had very long title reigns. I think Samoa Joe had a long reign as NXT champion. I think Braun Breaker had a decent reign.
He did, but when you say that, I think, but I'm actually like more building on what you're saying. Do you remember that that Trick Williams NXT North American Championship reign? Short,
I barely
super short.
Okay, so that was
It was it, bro. It was like
yeah.
It was like 3 or 4 days. It was a 3 or 4 day
Okay,
reign.
damn. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So
He won it.
yeah,
He won it at a PLE and lost it on NXT that
Damn.
next Tuesday NXT.
Okay, all right, but yeah, like with I'm gonna go Sol Ruka just to really just so one of us is wrong, just so one of us is wrong.
Yeah, I get you. But once again, like Ruka could take it. She could, because the way they've been building Ruka, and like I think she'd be perfect for that mid card championship. I think she was in that ladder match. She was somebody who I think could have won it. Honestly, I'm not even gonna lie, because I hadn't seen Kalani Jordan until that ladder match. I thought there was like a 0 to 10% chance that she was going to win that match, and she won it. You know what I'm saying? So Ruka was high on my list to win that and become that. So like for that reason, So Ruka is ready for that. And if they decide to be like, you know what, we're going to pivot from Kalani this quick, you know what I'm saying? Then we're just going to go to So Ruka. When I think about it, like deeper, I'm like, dang, anything could really happen. But like if I'm using wrestling psychology, Kalani will probably retain.
I definitely see how wrestling psychology can definitely sway our opinions, but like you said, NXT is anything but predictable.
Yeah. And I like that. That's not a bad thing at all.
No,
that's a great thing.
Not on them at all.
Yeah, it's a great thing. So like I'm excited for that match. Once again, I think it's gonna be a sleeper. I think that you feel the same way. But we're on different ends of the spectrum as far as who we think is going to win. And I think that makes things interesting. So let's go ahead and move forward here. We got some tag team championship action. We got Nathan Frazier and Axiom. They're going to be defending against Chase U. Man, Chase U is very interesting to me. Now they have Ridge Holland running with them. Now Chase U they've been running with Chase U for a while. And when I first saw Chase U, I'm not even going to lie, I thought it was corny as hell. I thought it was so corny. I'm like, this isn't going to last. There's no way this is going to continue to be a thing. But no, they've went with it and ran with it. And Chase U is like, actually, like, it's a guilty pleasure of mine now. I'm not going to lie. Like, I shitted on it before, but now it's like, I don't know. I kind of like them now. But like, you got Nathan Frazier and Axiom, who have actually been the tag champs for a while, even though they're singles competitors. Could this be the night for Chase U to win those tag team championships? I think it's going to be a good match for sure. But what do you think as far as how the match could go, and who do you think's winning?
So I think this is definitely going to be interesting because, like you said, Axiom and Nathan Frazier, they're more singles competitors, but they didn't just beat anybody for the tag team titles. They beat the Wolf Dogs. They beat Baron
Yeah.
Corbin and Braun Breaker. Like, so they're not exactly afraid to get scrappy. And
Right.
you got Chase U has been having a this is the one group that I've been keeping up with in NXT pretty consistently. They are in a
Yeah.
rough spot right now. Thea Hale is pissed off at them, hates Chase, and wants him to start getting wins. And I think Chase U wins, and I almost think someone in Chase U is going to help them cheat to win. I think we're because they've been running Chase U for like a year now, over a year, I
Yeah.
think, and so I think I think with everything, with all the drama been going on, like I could see them turning them heel at the same time. I could
Yeah.
see them winning straight up and them getting the hero story ending that they've been looking to achieve.
Yeah. It's strong possibility here. It's Chase U, like you said, they've been running with it for a while. And man, I just once again I was like, this is the goofiest thing ever. This is like Alpha Academy times 10. But like it's definitely a thing where it's like they're testing out. I see what WWE is doing here. They're really like testing the waters here with these groups and putting like the like female element into these groups and whatnot, like with Rhea Ripley, like coming into the group. Now you have Liv Morgan, then you put like Mi Chin, who was part of like the OC, then you have BFAB, who's part of like the Pride, then Scarlet, the Final Testament. It's all a formula that they're following that works when you put that female element in there, and how things work when they're not there, how when they are there. It really seems like the Judgment Day Clubhouse has a looser feel when mommy's not there. You know what I'm saying? They
Yeah.
definitely wasn't playing PS5 before. So
No.
so like it's definitely different. But like I like the element, like, and they're hinting at a split in both groups, as Tony said here. Who knows what's going to
Yeah.
happen? It seems like as great as these athletes are, there's a lot of stories that's being built in NXT, and like I think that's where they want to go. Like we're getting a really good blend, I believe, from WWE in their attempt to really blend sports entertainment with great athleticism and wrestling.
Yeah.
And like at the end of the day, I've said for years, literally for years, when WWE was in that rough spot where it was just like damn near unwatchable television for a little bit there. And I was like, man, if they were able to try to put the stories in place that they try to put in place, but actually have like good wrestling involved, like it would be great. Because there was a lot of the times where they were relying on the same older talent and they just couldn't go as fast as they used to. And that's when people started really pivoting to watching like TNA and Ring of Honor and stuff like that. And like now we're seeing that blend. But it's very interesting to see stories that work really well with this great wrestling. Tony, who's an avid watcher NXT, says he thinks that Nathan Frazier will turn heel soon. Who knows? Maybe that could be tonight. It's a possibility. I think that match is going to be interesting to see. But usually the tag team matches are. I love me some tag team wrestling. But man, we're gonna go ahead and move on here to the next match on this card, and that next match is going to be what I think is another sleeper match, honestly. And we talked a little bit about it on the last episode that we did on the 4th of July, as we just quickly talked about some matches that we were excited for. This one is going to be the NXT Men's North American Championship, Obafemi versus Wesley. I saw a video package the other day for this match, and everything that Wesley has meant to the North American Championship, and him being considered widely considered like the greatest North American champion of all time, with his reigns, his number of defenses, or his length of reign, number of defenses. Like historically, they consider him to be the greatest NXT North American champion of all time. But then you have somebody like Obafemi, who's just a specimen of a man. It's a tank of a man. And man, I just think that these two together, it's going to be a great big man versus little man match. Wesley definitely has the NXT universe behind him. What are you thinking about this match? Obafemi defends against Wesley.
Wesley has got a mountain to climb, and that's an understatement. Obafemi, like you said, he's been dominant. His presence, his ability in the ring, he has gone through everyone that has been thrown in front of him. He's gone through triple threats. He has gone through men equal to him in size. And Wesley is going to have to pull out some real new tricks if he wants to take down Obafemi, because this is not. I can't see this going to going Wesley's way. I think Obafemi retains, and Wesley has to reevaluate how he approaches matches, reevaluate how he approaches NXT.
That's a good thought. I like what you're saying there, man, because I don't think it's time you take it off of Obafemi. I just don't. I mean, like, nothing against Wesley, great champion, but I feel like that this is just going to be a statement point for Obafemi. That's like, okay, Wesley never really lost the NXT North American Championship. He had to relinquish due to the injury, and now Obafemi is the champion now. And now, honestly, Wesley has that, he has that say where he can say, yeah, you might be champion, but you didn't beat me for it. I never lost that. So, like, if Obafemi beats him tonight and Obafemi picks up the victory, there's no question. There's no controversy. There's no nothing. Obafemi will be the undisputed, unquestioned North American champion. And I think that there's a story in that for Obafemi. And like you said, which is a great point, I think there's a story in Wesley reevaluating what he's going to do next and how he's going to pivot now that he'll have to go to the back of the line for the North American Championship. He'll have to pivot towards the NXT Championship, or join a tag team and possibly go for the NXT Tag Team Championships, or maybe even consider it's time for him to jump to the main roster. There's different situations that you can go with Wesley, but right now for Obafemi, the story is he's going to become the most dominant NXT North American champion ever.
Absolutely. 100%.
So, yeah, once again, I think the match itself going to be good. I'm going to enjoy the match. Definitely could be, it has match of the night potential, but we're definitely going to see. But, man, we're going to jump to the WWE NXT Women's Championship. Roxanne Perez going up against Lola Vice. Lola Vice has been being built in a very interesting way. She picked up a big victory against Shayna Baszler in an underground match. That's going to be big. Roxanne Perez, the prodigy, she's a great champion, but this one's going to be tough to call, man. What do you think happens in this match?
Man, I think we see Roxanne get rocked a little bit, because Lola Vice has that confidence and a bit of that ego, but like you said, like, she was able to hold her own against Shayna Baszler. Shayna Baszler's no pushover. I think we're gonna see Lola Vice. I think she's gonna take the strategy of coming out swinging and be on the offensive immediately from the start, or probably try and play mind games with Roxanne, which I think I don't think Mind Games are going to face either of these two, but I think I can see both of them trying mind games with each other. I I think Roxanne walks out still champion, but like this is because I can't tell what they're going to do because this doesn't seem like a bad time to put the title on Lola, but at the same
It
time, like,
doesn't.
do you want to take the title off Roxanne yet? Do you want to maybe hold off until Julia is officially able to join NXT?
Hmm. I,
Like
it,
this is tough because we know Julia's coming in. Lola
yeah.
is definitely being prepared for the main roster. She's being prepared for that women's championship.
You think you said
And
Lola?
yeah, I think
I
I'm gonna go with Roxanne. That's gonna be my pick. I'm gonna go with Roxanne's my pick. But I think they are preparing
it's
Lola for bigger things.
I think so too, man. I just do. Like you're I don't know, dog. Like
No.
when I'm thinking about it, I'm like, it's so because Lola feels like she's ready. Like they really built her in such an interesting way, and she has this like. Here's the thing with Lola. The legitimacy is there. That's
Mhm.
always going to hit differently. When you're a legitimate MMA badass, like you're always going to, there's always going to be things that they can do with you. The difference with Lola is that not only is she a legitimate MMA badass, but she's also an entertaining shit talker that'll twerk in your face and shake her ass and stuff like that. Like she has that interesting element to where she's a legitimate badass, but she has that entertainment aspect too. She really feels like she's ready. But I'm gonna reluctantly say Roxanne Perez wins this thing once again reluctantly because I do feel like that Lola is ready for it. I agree with you. Lola is she might not become an NXT Women's Champion, but I think she's going to transition to that main roster a lot quicker than what anybody really thinks
Mhm.
because it just feels
Definitely.
like with Lola, there's something there, and if you're paying attention, you can see it. It's obvious. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Man, it's crazy. Oh, what we got here? We got a shout out to everyone in the chat, including In Your House podcast. Keep up the good work on the channel. Appreciate it. And shout out from South Bronx. Hey, what's up? We appreciate you coming through, giving us a little bit of love. Yeah, we've been going at it, talking, bro. We're talking NXT Heatwave, and that's going to go ahead and continue here. I think we both agree Roxanne Perez comes out of it, but we both really like Lola Vice. Like
Yeah.
she's a great talent that I think is going to go far. Just because here's the thing with wrestling, you guys, and a lot of you guys know that, but some of you listeners might not get it in that way, and I'll just kind of break it down for you. Wins and losses don't really matter in wrestling. It's how you perform. It's how you show your work when you're out there. You only have maybe 12 to 15 minutes to show the best version of yourself. And if you can go out there and have a fantastic performance in a losing effort, you showed what you can do, and it's going to open up more opportunities for you down the line. So I feel like Lola Vice is going to have a career-altering performance tonight, but just come up short. And that's going to lead us to the main event of the evening, and that is Trick Williams. Trick Willie, the NXT champion, going up against Ethan Page, Javon Evans, and Sean Spears. Fatal four-way match for the NXT championship. Grun, these matches, they don't always fall in favor of the champion. A lot of good elements in here. Ethan Page making his debut with the company. Sean Spears making his return to the company. Javon Evans just completely jumping on the scene at 19 years old, already thrown himself into a main event on an NXT PLE at his young age, a prodigy in itself. But Trick Williams has been the standard bearer of NXT since becoming champion, standing 10 toes down against anybody who looks to challenge him. What are you thinking about this match, man? What are your thoughts on this fatal four-way and how things could go down?
I think we're going to see some betrayal. I think we're going to see people team up. I think we're definitely going to see Trick and Javon team up for a bit to take on Ethan and Sean, because I kind of want to see Ethan and Sean start working together a little bit more, because I got this
Yeah.
fantasy booking idea of Cody turning heel at some point and having the royal family, including Ethan, Sean, and Lexus, just from
Okay.
NXT. Like, I think
Okay.
that'd be a cool group to see. Um, I think we're going to. This is I think this match is definitely worthy of main event, not just because NXT champion, but like
Yeah.
you have Sean Spears and Ethan Page, they've been around a minute. They have had to scratch and claw for every opportunity in their career. So, and they have Sean, who owns his own school in Florida. He works with a lot of wrestlers. Like this is I think we're going to see Javon and Trick, regardless of what happens. We're going to see them come out as better wrestlers than they were before. I think Ethan
Oh
Page
yeah.
steals the title tonight. I think Ethan Page walks out
Ooh.
NXT champion.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Wow. Ethan Page becoming new NXT champion. Because I was just gonna say, and it's not that Ethan Page ain't good enough. He definitely
No,
is. But
yeah,
just in my mind, it's like if anybody besides Trick Williams comes out of this champion, I'm going to be so shocked. Just because like they've really got behind Trick so heavy. They look at him like he's the guy. Like, and I feel like that him going into this championship match, and if he were able to come out and beat 3 other guys, that's something that he could put on his shoulders and brag about. Like, yeah, I'm that guy. I can beat 3 other guys in a match. I'm really holding it down as the champion. I could not to see, like, if there was anybody else in this match, like if you put a gun to my head and said, pick somebody in this match that's not Trick Williams that you think can win it easily, it's Ethan Page. It is Ethan Page far and beyond. He feels like the guy. It's nothing against Sean Spears or Javon. I
no,
like Javon a lot. I think he's got a lot of potential, and he's got a lot of years ahead of him, which is one of the main reasons why he doesn't need to win the NXT championship tonight. Sean Spears, I would just be completely and utterly shocked because he just seems like he's been a perennial mid-card guy, like for
unfortunately, but
like the
yeah, but I mean, like, he's done it
yeah.
well.
He's worn it well, but he's just like a perennial mid card guy.
Mhm.
Like I said, if you put a gun to my head and ask me to pick somebody else besides Trick, Ethan Page far and beyond. He feels like he's ready for something like that, for that type of stage to be NXT champion. But I'm gonna say Trick Williams is gonna come out and retain and beat these guys and just stand firm as the champion. But all in all, like our guy Aaron said before, I think this has potential to definitely be better than Money in the Bank, as
Absolutely.
far as what they can do. The potential's there. The potential is most
Yeah.
definitely there. So that's what I think about it. I think the show is going to be good. I'm looking forward to sitting down and checking it out. It starts at 7, so it's earlier. I like the fact that it's 7 instead of 8 because I thought
Yeah.
Money in the Bank started at 8. And then they said it started at 7. That 2-hour pre-show was hell on earth, bro. I mean,
Yeah, it
my
was.
God, it felt forever. But once we finally
Yeah.
got there, it was cool. We only got a 1 hour. I looked at it on my phone and it says it starts at 6. Pre-show starts at 6. I'm like, good. No more 2-hour pre-shows because that was way too long.
Yeah.
But no, I'm excited, man. I think it's going to be a good show tonight, and yeah, I'm just going to sit down and enjoy it, and hopefully we all can at some point reconvene and talk about that Monday Night Raw, and yeah, like we did today, because I think this was a good episode, and yeah, bro, we held it down, talked about some Money in the Bank, talked about John Cena and everything he's got going and moving. We talked about Heatwave and everything moving there. I think we covered it all, Grunt. I think we
Yeah,
kind of
we
covered
did.
everything we wanted to cover, bro.
Yeah, definitely.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Y'all call this a really great episode. Before I do that, of course, I gotta give my co-host an opportunity to plug anything that he wants to plug. Of course, he does his Twitch channel there, and he does the Monday show, everything that he's doing, moving. But he can go a little bit more in depth about that and give you all the plugs and everything. Grun, go ahead and break it down for the household.
Yeah, so you guys can catch me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Grubmeister. Where I play a lot of Call of Duty, play Elden, play whatever floats my fancy. Just trying to have fun, just trying to give you guys some entertainment.
Yes, man. Yes, we appreciate that. And yeah, I got a chance. I got a chance to drop in on some of your stuff that you do gaming and stuff. And yeah, man, they be bothering you, bro. You be getting into it, bro.
Yeah,
It's fun stuff, man.
yeah.
So tap in everything my man Grunt is doing, and of course, anytime he gets a chance to, he's here on In Your House talking some pro wrestling. We appreciate it, guys. You already know where you can find me right here doing this on this show and out there, doing what I can to help wrestling shows locally. I'll be in Indianapolis on the 27th at Wrestle Arts. I'll be back there doing whatever they need me to do, whether it be commentary, backstage correspondence. Maybe you'll see me run through that curtain and manage somebody. You never really know what I'm going to do because I like being that utility guy, that Swiss Army knife that does everything that he can to help out backstage at a show. So it's fun. That's my next appearance. I got some more appearances coming up through the next few months. I'm excited because it does seem like that with WrestleMania and SummerSlam, and then of course Royal Rumble coming here. The feelers are already out there for me to be working like some shows WrestleMania week, working some shows SummerSlam week, working some shows the weekend of Royal Rumble, and then being showing up at the Royal Rumble. Another thing I would like for In Your House to do is possibly I'm going to try to see if I could submit for press credentials for the Royal Rumble. That would be amazing to be able to jump backstage and do something like that. We got a lot of stuff that we're trying to do, y'all. Of course, we have our interview series. This past Friday, we dropped Eric Dillinger on the podcast, and then on the video version that dropped as well. Coming up, we're going to have Misa Kate from she was from NWA. News broke that she is going to be leaving the company. We got to her before that happened, so follow everything that Misa Kate is doing. Also, we had OVW's Big Zoe. He's going to be coming the week after that. And then the ECW legend, the manager of champions, Bill Alfonso, was our last interview. Guys, we've got some big interviews that we're trying to put together for y'all. Big things popping, little things stopping here at In Your House. Once again, I want to thank you guys for keeping us on the charts. We are back charted again, so that's awesome. Always helps get our downloads driven up on the podcast version and engagement moving up. So we appreciate y'all putting us back on those charts. Guys, you already know me and where you can find me at Alicon House, social media, all those places. Then In Your House Pod. Guys, that's on X. That's HOWSC, and the W stands for work. So for the Grundmeisters, for the voice, Josh Joseph, for Hypocrisy Jones, for the world's most dangerous podcaster paragon, I am Alicon, the Concept House, here to remind you to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a friend to hop on this bandwagon, get on or get gone, because the household is still going mighty strong. You guys have a great day. Enjoy yourself some Heatwave on NXT and enjoy the rest of your week. Peace.